Everyone, welcome to the Close to My Heart Art Studio, and I'm Karen Pedersen. I'm here today to demonstrate a really cute card that is in our current catalog. So let's take a look at the page it's on in the catalog, and then we'll get started. We're going to be using this very cute BBQ Boss stamp set today, and we're going to be creating this card right here. I'm actually going to show it to you on the close-up camera, so that you can catch all of the sparkle and shine on there. We've got some shine going on the burger and the little flames. And you can tell if you look at this card that the burger has lots of different colors. We've got the bun colors, which it even has some shading around the edge. We've got the burger color, we've got the cheese color, and then we've got the background part of it that's stamped in a sapphire. And if you look at the stamp set right here, you can see that this is all one stamp. So you might be wondering how we did that. Same with the cute utensils that are part of this card. They're all one solid stamp, and you can see here on our card, they have cute candy apple handles and charcoal metal parts. And so you're going to learn how to do all of that today with a solid stamp. I think you're going to enjoy it. The name of the game today, or the name of the technique, I guess to be more correct, is paper piecing. We're going to be doing a lot of paper piecing today. You're also going to learn how we got the different glimmers and shimmers and shines on those pieces, and we'll talk through the papers and things that we are using. This is the catalog that it just began in July, and it's going through September. It's a beautiful catalog. If you don't already have one or haven't seen it yet, just either head to your maker's website or closetomyheart.com and click on catalogs, and you can view it page by page in a PDF version there. So the page we are on is 47. This is a great stamp set. In fact, we just here in the USA had our 4th of July, which is our Independence Day. And this is awesome to use for that, because quite often here in the US we do barbecues on Independence Day. I know Canada Day also was just celebrated up in Canada. I'm assuming that they maybe do some of those things too. And just summertime in general, right, is a great time for cooking out on the grill and having delicious meals. This stamp set has so many great sentiments in it. Hope your day is well done. And those are two different stamps, so you could just stamp well done. Flippin' awesome. Holy smokes. Thank you. You are a rare find. Happy birthday. Grillin' and chillin'. Hey there, BBQ Boss. And then all these great icons that are all perfect for grills. We even gave you 2 different designs of grills because we know there are so many out there. So it's a great set. It not only is a stamp set, but it can be ordered with coordinating die cuts. And you can see those right here. I have pre-die cut a few things that we're going to be using in this card. The 2 utensils and this oval that encases the BBQ Boss icon and sentiment that we'll be using on this card. But you can see that the barbecue sauce bottle, the hot dog, the steak, the ribs, both grills, and the flames, oh, and the shish kebab are all coordinating die cuts with this set. And when you go online, or whether you're looking in your physical catalog, you'll be able to see the numbers and prices to be able to order it, either the stamp set by itself or with the coordinating dies. So let's get that moved out of the way and move my work area in so that we can get started on the fun here. Now, I don't know how many of you have ever paper pieced before, but we're going to be doing quite a bit of that today. And one of the awesome things about doing a video is that we can do a little prep in advance. We've done some cutting in advance and a few other things so that everything is ready to go. But I didn't do anything in advance that would keep you from learning what we're doing. So I will be showing you all the little steps that are part of the paper piecing of this card. So let's just start out with a card base, which is this awesome card base. We sell these in packages of 50 with coordinating envelopes. We'll just fold that in half. And I'm going to put the card I'm creating right here. And actually, I bet you guys would all like it so much better if I moved my whole workspace over where you can see me close up, because I think you'll be able to see all the details of creating better. So here we are. Now I'm just going to have to be very strategic where I put things as I work with them. But I think you will enjoy it so much more to see what's happening close up. Okay, so I've got my card folded in half. The papers used on this card, all of the pattern papers, are from our mix-in paper packet, which is a paper packet that we create each catalog that has papers in it that can coordinate with any of the paper packets in the catalog for that time. And this catalog has a beach kit in it, it has a fall kit in it, and it has a gardening kit in it. And these papers, not every paper in the mix-in goes with every paper in each of those kits, but there are several papers that go with any of the kits. So that's what we're using for our pattern papers here. We've got our this one is a nice plaid with a couple of browns. And just to let you guys know, I will do my very best to remember to tell you the sizes of each of these papers as I use them and put them on the card so that you can write them down if you're wanting to recreate this card on your own. So this is a standard card, or an A2 card, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 once it is folded, which is like an 8 1/2 by 11 sheet of paper cut in half. Okay, then the next thing we're going to do is add this strip of candy apple and white daisy flowers, and that's actually the back side of the same piece that we just put. And we're going to add this about a 1/2 inch from the side of the card. This piece is 2 inches by 4 1/4 inches. So that's what we've got next. The next piece of pattern paper we're going to use is this cute dotted stripe. It looks like it's almost on denim, again, from the mix-in paper packet. And look how cute the back is. I love those stripes. This one is 3 inches by 4 inches, and I'm just putting that like kind of right in the center of my card. Then I'm going to take a piece of sapphire cardstock, and for those of you that are new to Close to My Heart, our cardstock is the true color on one side and a lightened tone of that on the other side. That's the light side. I've written myself a little note there, and that's going to go on next. This piece is actually 2 1/2 by 3 1/2. So let's just quickly, while I'm putting that on, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, 2 by 4 1/4, 3 by 4, 2 1/2 by 3 1/2. Now, all of that is ready for us to put our card together. Now we're going to do kind of the getting everything ready. We're going to do a little bit of splattering here on this white daisy piece, which, for your information, is 2 3/8 by 3 3/8. I'm going to move these other things out of the way so I just have my all-purpose mat. This pen here is a shimmer brush. That's something fun we do it here at Close to My Heart. We have one in almost any of our 40 exclusive colors. Plus, I think we have a gold and a clear. What it is ink, and it's mixed with a shimmer so that anything you put this on gets a nice little shimmer and shine. And we're going to actually splatter with this, almost like we would do with watercolor paints. I'm just going to put a little bit on my all-purpose mat right there, and then come pick some of it back up so I have a nice wet brush, and I'm just going to tap that on my finger and let a few of those little wet shimmery pieces of ink come off right there. I'm going to just set that aside to dry while we finish the rest of the card so that it will be ready for us to put together. And let's see, did I bring something I can wipe up? Let's wipe off my work surface here. All-purpose mats, I use this under myself every time I'm crafting because it's also great to use when I'm putting my adhesive on too, and so I don't get any on my work surface and make everything sticky. Okay, now we're back to building our burger. Now, like we said at the beginning, we stamped this in sapphire. This really looks nothing like this, right? Except for the outside edges. So I'm going to show you how we made this happen. The first thing we need to do, any colors that you want on your paper piece, you would need to stamp in each of those colors. So our buns are lemonade with some nectarine on the edges, and I'll show you how we did that in just a second. That little slice of cheese in there is nectarine. The burger we did in espresso, and then the handles on these guys are done in candy apple. Okay, so far so good. You're staying with me. The next thing you would do, let me grab my next piece here, is you would cut out the pieces in the colors you would need. So our burger is going to be espresso. I'll bring that piece in that I already cut out for you. Our cheese is going to be the nectarine. So let me bring that in and show you. That was a tiny little piece of cheese I had to cut out there. Then we've got the two buns here, the top and the bottom of the bun that we did in lemonade. So you can see it would start, oops, I'm going off camera here. It would start with this, then it would be cutting out each of these pieces. Then we know we want the handles of those two little utensils in candy apple. So you can see I've got all those pieces cut out of where I stamped them. Hopefully you're with me. You didn't have to sit and watch me stamp and cut each of those out. So now that they're cut out, we're going to put them together. I've already die cut the two utensils and stamped those in charcoal. So the tops of them are already the color that we want them to be. It's just the handles we need. So I've got those here as well. Okay, I'm going to just move a few things out of the way so you can see everything. Those two guys. Then we have our sapphire burger stamped, and we'll still need to do our flames. So I've already die cut that piece so that we're ready to go. Okay, let's start by doing the flames. And for that technique, we're going to do something called rolling. I just have to figure out where I put my stamp set. There it is. Okay, so we're going to take our flames from the stamp set. You can see that it's just a solid stamp. And I'm going to put that on a block and season it. And for those of you who are new to stamping or new to our stamps, you always want to season a brand new stamp. When they come on the stamp sheet, you can see that they're shiny. You see how those are really shiny, the surface of those stamps, and we want to take that shine off there, that shine that is there when they're manufactured, because otherwise the ink will want to bead off. So if you just rub it on your hand or your arm, somewhere on your skin, then your skin takes that shine right off. Can you see how it's matte now? And it's ready to absorb and use ink. So I'm just taking the foam from my stamp sheet because things always stamp so much nicer when you have a little foam underneath them. I'm just going to move all my cutout pieces up here by the top so that I don't lose them. I might have already lost my cheeks. Oh dear. Oh, there it is. Okay, now we're going to come back in here. I'm going to just set that flame right on top of my workspace. And I'm going to use two different stamp pads. Whenever you roll, you want to start with your lighter color, which is obviously lemonade. So we're going to take the lemonade pad and the nectarine pad. This, by the way, this is dangerous for me to put two pads open next to each other. You never know what could happen. So we'll hope that I remember which pad is in which place. Okay, so I'm going to ink my stamp in the lemonade. I'm going to try to do this so you can see what's happening. Now that I've got that nice and inked in the lemonade color, I'm going to come over here to the nectarine, and I'm going to roll that just around the edges is all that touched. Can you see the orange? Let's see. Maybe if I hold a piece of white underneath. Can you see? There you go. That orange around the edge of the yellow. So that's called rolling. And then we stamp it, and you'll be able to see how that gets kind of the look of some flames. We could even do that exact same thing, do the lemonade, roll it in nectarine, then we could even roll it just slightly, even less around the edges in a candy apple and have 3 different colors in what we rolled so that it looks like flames. Awesome, right? So we've got that taken care of. Now we're going to start building our hamburger. So I mentioned that we needed to do some things to these 2 little lemonade buns to make them look like the ones in our sample. We need our nectarine pad. We've already stamped and cut those out of lemonade. White daisy cardstock, but lemonade ink. I'm just going to use a round sponge that I've cut into sections, and I'm just going to kind of roll that into my fingers and dab it onto my nectarine stamp pad and sponge right around the edges. I just hold my paper kind of stiff and flat and touch the edges with my sponge. I don't really push it on the top part. I'm just sort of touching the edges, and the ink just comes right up like it should. If you start to try and do it onto the front, you're going to get a lot more ink than you might want. So same with the other part here. So you can see how I just gave my hamburger bun some nice depth. That looks awesome, right? All right, now we're ready to start adding the pieces. So I'm just going to move this over so I have a good place to add adhesive. I'm going to take the burger, add some adhesive to that, and just put it right over the top of the burger on our stamped piece. I'm going to do the same thing with my little slice of cheese. One of the nice things about this all-purpose mat, you saw I just added adhesive to a very skinny piece. So the adhesive went over the edges of it, and that way it just wipes right off. I don't have to worry about it getting on anything else. Okay, so I'm adding that cheese next. Then I'll add the buns. And you can see how we're building a multicolored burger here by doing what we call paper piecing. Very fun technique. You can do it with lined stamps too. Let's say you had a little girl with a dress on and you wanted her dress to be made out of this cute candy apple and white floral paper. You could stamp her on your white daisy or whatever color you wanted her on for your card or scrapbook page. Then stamp her again on this candy apple and white pattern, and then cut out just the dress. And you could glue that onto the little girl you'd stamped and then color in her hair and face and whatever. But this way you can get a nice patterned dress. So paper piecing works for solid or for lined stamps. Okay, this is what we have so far. We also need to add our handles to the fork and spatula. Add a little bit of adhesive and put that right over the top of the handle there. Remember, this is what we stamped. Just to give you a little refresher, we stamped those and cut those out, cut the buns, the cheese, and the burger. Hopefully that's all registering. You can see that done here. Okay, then we're going to add our handle to the fork. And we'll be ready to build our card. And I think hopefully my splattering is dry and you might be able to see the shine in it if I can turn it just right under the camera. Okay, so we've got our burger, our utensils, and our flame, all the things we need to build on this piece right here. And I've got the card base we built right at the beginning. Let's bring this in, and I'm hoping you can see. I think, oh, yep, there we go. Can you see that shimmer in that red ink? Isn't that fun? These are great to splatter with, to color with, to create like little swashes behind things and then stamp on. All kinds of ways to use these, but you can see how it catches the light and has some shimmer in there. Okay, we're going to add this piece right on top. I was working on some of our 4th of July pictures, and I actually I was doing a layout that is half traditional, just like a regular scrapbook page, and the other half is a pocket page. And I created my own pocket card with this on it that looked pretty much like this, only it's the size of a 3x4 pocket. And it looks so cute on that page. So you may look at this stamp set and think, oh, those icons might be a little small for scrapbooking, but really they're not at all, depending on how you use them. They'd be great in little clusters next to a photo or as an accent on a journaling piece. This stamp set is going to get a lot of use from me. Okay, now let's add our centerpiece. We're going to add this on a little bit of foam tape. And don't worry, I haven't forgotten that we need to make our burger and our flames have some sparkle to them, and I'll show you how we did that. Add this right here in the center. I'm going to add my sparkle very last once it's on my card. You could do it earlier in the process, but the reason I didn't, especially for this video, is I wouldn't have been able to pick those pieces back up until they were dry. Then we're also going to just add a tiny bit of foam tape to the back of these, and just a little hint. Can you see on my sample card here? There are parts of these that overlap onto the already burger piece that we popped up and parts that don't. You only need to put foam tape under the portions that are not overlapping because this is already raised, right? So if you were to raise this whole piece, you would have two parts that went down a little lower and then a middle that kind of poked up even higher. So anytime you're overlapping something that already has foam tape under it, you want to think about that and only put foam tape on the parts that do not overlap. All right, now we're ready to add these. So we'll put these right onto our card. Very cute. And we need to add our flames. So I'm just going to add a little bit of adhesive to that and just tuck it kind of right under there. Just going to trim the bottom off just slightly so it'll tuck under a little better. There we go. Very, very nice. Looking good, right? Okay, now we're going to add our embellishments so that I can save the, for very last, that sparkle stuff that we're going to use. Okay, so here's where we are. We're just going to accessorize just a little bit. These are actually the accessory that goes with the fall kit called Crisp Air in this catalog. And you look at it as a whole and it does feel like fall, right? But if you think of these little guys in pieces, it can certainly be all kinds of different things. So if we just use these sapphire and I think this is Sundance, yes, sapphire and Sundance pieces on our card, then it doesn't just feel like fall. So all I'm going to do is slide these onto my card. I'm going to take one of these sapphire dots and hold it with my finger and slide it right onto my card. Maybe they don't want to slide, so we're just going to pick them up. And then I'll take a sapphire star and add that down this direction. And then we'll add a few of these Sundance pieces as well, these cute little dots. And then we can't forget more sparkle, right? Everything's better with sparkle. These are called bitty sparkles. They're just tiny little guys. We'll just mix a few of these in to bring out a little bit more sparkle in what we're doing. And these I know will slide right off. So I just like to kind of hold it where it's going and then slide that sheet out from underneath. We'll just add a few of these here and there. I think I added a few more than were on the original card. Why not? A little sparkle is great. More sparkle is even better. Okay, now we are at the point where we're ready to add the glitter to the hamburger and those flames. And we actually used two different stickles to do that. And I'm just going to grab, let's see, this one is the platinum stickles. This is almost like a gel or a glue that is slightly colored and filled with glitter. And we carry lots of colors of these. This platinum one we used on the burger. And you can use this for all kinds of things. In fact, I'm going to bring in this piece of paper and show you. You could create your own gems. Instead of pulling a gem on, you could actually go right on your project and create your own little gem like that. You can add it to just certain pieces of things like we're about to do, but I'm going to use it a little differently. A lot of times people think that for stickles it always has to be raised like that. I'm just going to squeeze it onto my burger and use the tip to almost color with it. Can you see how I'm adding that, but then using the tip to move it slightly around? You could also do it with a paintbrush if you wanted, but this is going to give our burger the look of a burger that's glittery, although, you know, we may not eat the glittery burger. It's really pretty. Then we're also going to use the stickles Glisten on the flames. I loved that we used the platinum on there. It's almost like a goldish brown, maybe a little bit, which was perfect for the burger. And then these, this Glisten will be perfect for the flames. And I'm just going to use it the same way. I'm just going to squeeze a little bit right onto that flame, and instead of letting it get really deep, I'm just going to move it around with the tip, almost like I'm coloring or painting a little bit with it. And so I've covered each of those little flames. go. And you can kind of see, a little harder when it's wet than when it's dry. I'll do the dry one for you. That fun glitter shimmer. Maybe I can go up a little bit and you can see it. But that's it. And I hope not only did you learn a little bit about paper piecing today, but I hope you also learned a little bit about other ways you can use paper piecing, as well as fun uses for this stamp set and maybe a few tips and tricks along the way. Thanks for joining me.